start by talking about artificial intelligence, because later the European Union and the United States will discuss cooperation on AI. Ministers are meeting for the fourth time at the Trade and Technology Council in Sweden. They're expected to look into apps and programs that use AI algorithms such as ChatGPT. You may well be aware and familiar with those. Members of the G7 group of leading economies are also meeting today to debate AI and look at how technology should be governed, as well as disinformation and protecting copyright. Let's speak now to Philip Lausberg, who is the policy analyst at the European Policy Centre. What do you expect we might get from these various meetings happening today?
So, there are two meetings, as you already said, the G7, but also the TTC. I see the TTC as the more productive and the more hopeful meeting because it's bilateral. It's the US and the EU meeting. And quite surely there will be something coming out of this, given the risk and the dangers that have been identified quite clearly by both sides. So what we could expect in that in that format is probably some kind of agreement on how what the risks are, first of all, to define the risks, the metrics of measuring the risks of AI and risk management methods, but also the start of developing common standards, to take steps together with stakeholders who will be present at the TTC, who really will give the insights that are necessary to arrive at common standards. And I think that, everyone expects something to come out of that. When it comes to G7, of course, this is a much larger group of states. I think the most we can expect is some sort of agreement and, voicing of intent on tackling these issues, and maybe some common definitions that everyone can align to at what AI means and what are the risks. So far, the EU has taken over already the OECD definition, and there are some people expecting all the 7 states to take over that definition from the OECD, which would be a first step also to start, regulating and defining standards.
Where do you think it will be difficult to reach agreement? What are the sticking points where they differ?
Well, I think when it comes to EU and US, the EU has a tradition of regulating. The US has much less, so they have more an interest in the business side of things. And I think that in general has always been a factor that has been creating somehow difficulties to come to common ground. But given the urgency, I don't think this time this will be decisive. Plus, the actual development of legislation will come afterwards. The TTC doesn't have any, legislative power anyway.
How urgent is it that they reach agreement on these matters, given the speed with which AI and apps that use it are developing?
I think it's very urgent, and especially also because this is the opportunity that democratic states start developing standards on this issue. If this opportunity is being missed, this might be coming from a different angle, for example, from autocratic states, from China. I think time is running out, and we've seen with the EU legislation that has already put something in place that is, it still needs to go through Parliament, but it's going way too slowly to actually react to things like ChatGPT.
Okay. Philip Lausberg from the European Policy Centre, thanks very much.